everyone, it's Nancy. How are you today? Today is April 9th and it's a bit windy. As you can see, my helper Rain is here. She's going to help us make a mask today. All right. So today our lesson, if you looked at the calendar, says we're going to do writing for work and we're going to be writing steps. Okay, and I thought I would make a mask, which are now going to be required if you go out to the supermarket or out to the pharmacy. If you have to go out anywhere where you're going to see people, you're going to have to wear a mask. And I've made 3 different kinds of masks now. And this seems to be the easiest one if you have a sewing machine or if you're good with a needle and thread. All right, so let me try this on for you. This one's called a pocket face mask. And I did it a little bit differently. I put this so it's adjustable. All right, this is called a pocket face mask. All right. I will also post a link on my site so you can download the pattern if you have a sewing machine. All right. So first decide on your fabric. I had some quilting fabric just laying around. I was going to make a quilt maybe someday. So I decided this would be one side of my mask and this would be another side of my mask. All right, so I have 2 different fabrics. Now they're telling us we can make it out of an old t-shirt or an old pillowcase. That's fine too. If you want to put a 3rd layer in the middle, you can use what's called interfacing. This white stuff makes it a little sturdier. However, my sister said she wasn't sure about how this would microwave. So when you come in from wearing your mask, you can put these in the microwave for a few seconds and that will kill the virus. All right. Okay. So first you have to decide on a pattern. The link has a pattern for men, for women, and teenagers, and then also one for children. So I'm going to make one for myself. So first you need to cut out the correct pattern. This one is for a woman. All right, and so you just cut that out very quickly and neatly. Like that. So let's go over the steps. First, download the pattern from the internet. Next, decide on a fabric or material or cloth. There are 3 different words for this. Material, fabric, cloth. They all mean the same thing. So decide on what fabric. If you don't want to go to the store or you don't want to buy it online, you can use an old shirt, an old pillowcase, or just some fabric like me that was hanging around. So your first step is to download the pattern. Next step is to choose or select a fabric. Next, cut out the pattern. All right. Then you need to cut 2 of these. Kitty, you almost knocked over my iron. So you're going to cut 2 pieces, all right, of one fabric for the front and then one fabric for the back. So you need 4 pieces like this. Now Kitty's eating my elastic. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to need some pins so you can pin the fabric, the pattern to the fabric. All right, that's easy enough, isn't it? Not with Kitty helping. Not with Kitty helping. Kitty is not a good helper. Really? Really? Really, 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 Kitty. Such a bad kitty. Can you just go down? Thank you. Good kitty. Go down. Thank you. I hope everybody likes kitties. I know you all know I have dogs. I bet you didn't know I had kitty. Okay? So you're going to need some pins. Pins. I have a pin cushion full of pins. And now I'm going to pin. I'm going to pin the fabric to the pattern so I can cut it out. Let me just show you that real quick. Easier to do it this way. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I know Nilifer works for David's Bridal, and she is a tailor. So I'm sure if you need some advice on how to sew, ask her, because I'm not a brilliant sewer. I'm okay. And if I can do this, anybody can do this, right? If I can do this, anybody can do this. If you don't have a sewing machine, that is the problem. If you don't have a sewing machine, you might have to take out your needle and thread and do this, or perhaps find somebody who can sew. All right, here's my fabric. Now first I'm going to have to sew this seam, this one. All right, now I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn it inside out. Turn it inside out. All right, and then you're just going to pin that together again. I'm just going to use 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's go over this way to the sewing machine, and I'll show you how to sew this curved edge. Hi, I'm going to turn on my sewing machine, and I'm going to start to sew. I'm going to make it a little bit stronger on each end, so I'm going to go forward a little bit, and then I'm going to go backward a little bit just to make sure that the fabric is kind of not going to unravel. Got to go around the curve. Now that's a little bit more difficult. So you need to be maybe a little bit more careful as you go around that curve. Okay. And then I'm going to go back just a little bit again. So now that you've finished this part, you need to cut this off. Oops. There's my cutter here. I don't see it. Oh, maybe it's in the back. Maybe I'll need the scissors. Oops. They're over there. Of course, they're over there. So, okay. So this will be the front of my face mask because I like flowers. I think everybody knows that. That'll be the front right there. Okay? Okay. So I'm just going to fold up my leftover material in case I need to make some more. Throw away any little scraps. This is called a scrap. You can't do anything with that. And I'm going to put that aside. So I've made the front of my face mask now. All right. I wanted to go over some of the words that you see in front of you. One more time. Interfacing. Material. Pins. Pin cushion. Pins. Pin cushion. Iron. Ironing board. This is my ironing board. And it's now wet because Kitty knocked over my iron. Oh dear. Okay. So iron, ironing board. Here, this is elastic. Okay? And right here is a safety pin. And I'm going to show you what that's for. That's for feeding the elastic through here. Now there are two ways to do this. You can sew in a little loop so you can wear it over your ear if you don't want to use too much elastic. I think you need like 7 inches. And you would sew it into this seam. I decided to use a lot of elastic and feed it all the way through a little casing that I used, and then I fed the elastic through with a little safety pin. And that way you can adjust it, make it bigger or smaller. When you're finished making it the size you want, tie it in a very tight knot, and then you can hide that knot inside the casing like this. Just pull it in like that when you've got it to the right size. And that's why I did it that way. But measure carefully, cut it, and sew it into the seam. Whoops, there we go. This time I'm knocking it over. All right, now you need to cut the back. So you're going to get your second piece of fabric. And it can be the same or it can be different. I decided that bright blue, turquoise, was kind of a great color. Again, I was going to make a quilt with this, but it came in handy that I bought all of these. I got all of these pretty colors at Walmart one day. I found a big sale in the middle of the summer, and each one was just $1 for all that fabric. Wow. What a great sale. I'm so sad that I can't go shopping anymore. I hope that, you know, pretty soon we'll be allowed to go out and do some more shopping, because I think everybody in class knows how much I like to shop. Now you're going to pin this again, this time to the inside. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to get your scissors again, and you're going to cut out the back, the next fabric that you need. They're telling us that you need at least 2 layers. And again, there are many patterns out there. You don't have to use mine. I'm just using mine for the writing activity, where you're going to write the steps on how to make a mask. Now, if you don't want to write the steps on how to make a mask, please write the steps for making chocolate chip cookies, or the steps for learning to drive a car, or steps for making a pizza. See, I'm folding the fabric? Folding. Fold. I am folding, right? Continuous tense. I am folding the fabric. This is a scrap of fabric. You're going to just throw these scraps away. All right? So I'm going to unpin the pattern from the fabric, or the material, or the cloth. And I'm going to try very difficult, I don't know which side is the correct side. I wish Nilifer were here. She would be able to tell me which was the right side and which was the wrong side of the fabric. Ooh, Well, there's a problem that I found that was folded over. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Another scrap of fabric. Okay, and we're just going to pin these together. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. I'm going to sew this together, and I'm going to show you how to pin it, and then I will show you how to run the elastic, and then I will go over the steps that you need to write. Okay? Hi, I'm back. I'm going to unplug my my sewing machine, and I'm going to plug in my iron. I just want to say, if my videographer, my sewing machine was actually quite cheap. I think I got it for around $100, and I ordered it and they sent it to me. All right, so I'm going to turn on my iron. You do not have to do this. If you want to, it's always better to press the seams open. That way, when you sew these together, it'll be nice and neat and tidy, okay? The problem is with this, it's curved, so you have to be a little bit careful here. My iron hot. Ooh, yeah, get there. Okay. So I'm just going to open up this seam. It's called a seam. And I'm going to press this open. That way when I pin these two guys together, you're going to see that it's much easier to pin together if you go ahead and press that seam open. So that's steam puffing up. See, steam. Okay. So now that I've pressed this open, I'm going to press my blue one, my turquoise color, open as well. All right. Do this real quick. Then we're going to, oops, iron this so it's nice and neat and tidy. Again, be a little careful so you don't burn yourself. I don't know if you were having children help you. I think make sure that they're a little bit older, especially using a sewing machine or an iron. Right. And you can make sure that this is very nice and straight like that. This one too. Oops. That iron just does not want to stay up today at all. Okay, so you're going to put these two, the one that will be on the outside, you want to put that on the inside when you stitch it together. All right, make sure these little ends are all nice and neat and pinned together. All right, so we're going to pin this together like this, and then we're going to stitch all the way around the outside, making sure it's all nice and even. I'm going to turn this guy right on off because it does not want to stay up today no matter what I do. Make sure that's turned off. Pin this, pin this. Make sure that the curve is pinned nicely. When you stitch around it, make sure that you're going to leave an opening so you can turn it inside out. Okay? Turn it inside out. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm just going to finish pinning up. I'm going to stitch all the way around except leaving about that much not sewn. I'm going to stitch all the way around, but leaving this much of a gap so I can turn it inside out. Okay, I'll see you in a minute I'll come back and I'll show you how I stitched it, and we'll turn it inside out together. Okay? So I sewed all the way around the edges except leaving a little bit of a gap right here. Okay? So I'm just going to cut off these extra pieces of thread. This is called thread. And I'm going to turn it, actually not inside out, I'm going to turn it right side out. So I have to use my finger to turn this around like this. Okay, pretty easy. And we're almost done. Yeah, we're almost done here. Now this is just 2 pieces of fabric together, but you could use more if you felt better. The thing is, you still want to be able to breathe a bit. If you can't breathe, wow, you know, you might just be in big trouble if you can't breathe. All right, here we go. We've turned it right side out now. Go like this, across my face, yeah. Again, you can put a loop here of the elastic and stitch it in, or you can do what I was going to do. You can stitch this piece by hand if you want to. I'm going to turn these over like this, yeah, and then I'm going to feed the elastic around so I can have 2 bands around my head. I'm just going to stitch all the way around, folding these 2 pieces over, and then I'll show you how to feed the elastic through, and we'll be done. And then we're going to talk about some other fabrics you can use and other ways to make a mask. Okay? Okay. So if you can do this without your kitty helping, you're going to take your elastic and kind of measure, because you're going to need 2. So I think that's more than enough, is that. Let me just measure again. Just extra a little bit because I got to tie it. All right, I'm going to cut this off like that. If you make a mistake, you just add some more to it. All right, kitty, thank you for not helping. I'm going to take my safety pin and I'm going to feed it through like this. You might have to pull it just a little bit. See how I'm inching it through, inching it through, inching it through. Through. Remember that word? We talked about that word. It's a preposition, through. So I'm going to put the elastic through the little tunnel that I have made here, the little casing. And then I'm going to go back through over here. The other side, the other little tunnel through the casing. Yeah, just like that. All right, here we go. Now, remove your safety pin. Okay, and you can poke that through over here, like that. Now, you're going to just tie this. I always remember Girl Scouts, right over left, left over right, and you should have a nice tight little square knot here. It shouldn't go anywhere. All right, I'm going to try on the mask for you. Doesn't, again, take too long to make these. Oops, let's just take that off. Okay. And it fits pretty snug, right? Again, ta-da! What do you think? Pretty, right? Flowers, turquoise on the inside. Very good. Oops. People have said, what do I do if I don't have fabric? Well, if you have an old towel, you could use that to make your face mask with. You could also do like the cowboys did to keep the dust out of their nose when they were herding cattle across the country, right? Here's your bandana. Yeah, just tie your bandana across your face like this. Okay, cool, right? I'm a cowboy. Now that I doubled 4 times, right? This is 2 times. And I just turned it over one more time because it's quite big on me, and put that part over my nose and mouth. Remember, you don't want to put this under your nose. You want to make sure your nose is covered. So that's another thing you could do, is just a bandana or a pretty scarf. All right, if you have some nice scarf material, just put that over your face. Yeah. Or how about a winter scarf? I don't know whether we'll want to be using this in the middle of January, in the middle of July, but you could just wrap this guy around a couple of times, making sure it's over your nose, right? Making sure it's over your nose. Just make sure it's covered. So you can just use a scarf if you want to. This one's pretty light though. You can see through it really well. If you want to sew your own, you can use an old pillowcase, right? This is my pillow. This is my pillowcase. This is nice cotton fabric. You can put this in the microwave for, I don't know, I think it might be 5 seconds to kill the virus. All right. Now, this is if you have to do something in a pinch really quickly. I took a paper towel and I folded it like this, back and forth, like a fan. And then I took an elastic band, folded this over the elastic band, and just used a stapler. All right. And then, all right, but today's lesson is about writing steps, okay? So step 1, download the pattern, all right? Step 2, find a piece of fabric or material that you can use. Cut the pattern out. Take your selected fabric, fold it over so you cut 2 pieces. Decide what fabric you want on the back and cut 2 more pieces. Yes? Now stitch the front like that, reverse. Stitch the back like that, reverse. Now open it up. Put the 2 fabrics that you want out, to face out towards people. Put those together so they're on the inside. Then stitch all the way around, turn it inside out, then stitch all the way around again, and you've got your face mask. All right.